Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel. Back with another video today. Today, super excited. Today was a day that I finally got to put on my front lip spoiler on my BMW F10. I love it. I think you're gonna love it. It came out phenomenal. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And if you like the video, please make sure to give me that thumbs up. Alright y'all, let's get into it. Oh my goodness, y'all. Look at this thing. This is what a week of driving around Florida in the pouring rain every day gets you, man. This thing is a mess. So before we can put the bumper on today, we are gonna have to clean this thing up. So I'm gonna have a little help today, see if I can institute a little help for my daughter and help me get this thing cleaned up, because this is not gonna work. Alright y'all, got the wash done. Gotta be honest, it was cloudy right when I started, and then of course as soon as I started it started getting sunny, so I still got a couple water spots I gotta get some detailer and detail it off, but back clean. Gotta get the tires done, but at least it's clean enough now where we can go ahead and start putting on the front lip. Alright, so before we get started, I want to ceramic coat the new front spoiler lip. This is an eBay spoiler lip, and you know, doing eBay parts is really hit or miss. And this company right here, I'm not sure where this is actually manufactured, but the company was out of Ohio, I believe. And they got it to me pretty quick. And I had ordered one a while back before the pandemic and actually sent it back because I really didn't like the quality. And but this one, I really like how it's made, and on the bottom how it's got this sort of this structural, sort of almost like a honeycomb type piece, and it really, in comparison to the other one that I got, is actually a little bit more rigid, especially once everything gets bolted in where it's supposed to be. But it does come in 3 pieces, but you know, pretty inexpensive. I think I paid just a shade over 200 bucks for this. And considering it came in, there's no flaws on the paint, it matches exactly, so I'm pretty happy with it. But before I put it on, I want to ceramic coat it. I use Fine Lab. Fine Lab I have on my car. I have the Fine Lab heel light on my vehicle, but I'm not gonna put heel light on this because you have to be a professional installer to have access to it. So what I did the Fine Lab ceramic light, which is sort of the consumer version. And really the only difference is that you have to apply this about once a year. You're only going to get about a year out of this. And this is right next to the ground. So I'll put it on this, and then I'll just go in, buff this down, and reapply annually as needed. So it's pretty cool though. I mean, these come in and are going to sit just like this. And so everything lines up really, really nice. So I'm pretty happy with the way that it lines up, and so I think it's going to look nice on the car. But before we can get to putting any sort of ceramic coat on it, first thing we got to do is degrease. So I'm going to use a degreaser here, and then I'm actually going to use an alcohol. And I've already gently wiped this down just so I don't get any. You know, just so that I don't get any scratches or anything like that. But it really came really nice from the vendor. So I'll just put this on here. It's a really, really good degreaser, and that way you get a really good bond with that ceramic coating. Grab another microfiber towel, and I'm going to go back with This is simply just rubbing alcohol, and it'll really get this thing good and clean. Get any of the streaking from the degreaser off. All right, so there we go. So degreaser out of the way, alcohol out of the way. And then I thought I had an applicator pad for the Fine Lab, but I don't. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit today. Normally you'd have like a little blue applicator pad, but I don't have one today. So I'm going to cheat just a little bit. And one of the things that you do want to do is what they call prime. And a little bit goes a long way. So, all right, so that should be, make sure you put the lid back on. The worst thing you want to do is, there we go, spill that. So typically speaking, you want to do these in what they call a crosshatch pattern. And they say that you can leave this to sit up to 45 minutes. But I would tell you that anybody I've ever spoke with says that you don't really need that long. Just let it sit for a few minutes and then they'll come back and take it back off. I'm obviously not a detailer, I'm not a professional. I don't do this every day, but I did see how they did my vehicle. So, and now I should be able to put this on. Pretty simple. I will make sure that I get around here real nice, and then I'll come back with a nice cross hatch here and make sure that I get really good coverage, which is all we're trying to do here. And then what I'm going to come back with is a very soft microfiber cloth, because I don't want to scratch anything at this point, because the paint, like I said, it really came perfect. So literally like glass, perfect. And of course we'll come back. I'll get a clean section here, and we'll come back into the actual lip itself here. All right, so there we have it. We are ceramic coated, and now we can move to putting it on the car. All right, y'all, so before we can start putting the front spoiler on, it's sort of interesting because there's actually 3 pieces to the little lip spoiler, and essentially this piece on either side is going to connect to the side of the lip. So they don't come with any parts or fastening hardware, so sort of had to figure out, you know, how do you attach this, right? So in the spoiler itself, on the ends, you'll see that it's got the little holes where that goes in. The problem is that it's nothing more than that, a hole. So had to figure out, okay, so how do I attach the ends there? And it's pretty simple. It's essentially nylon rivets. So got this from Amazon, and I'll put the link below, but it's essentially just a poly rivet gun. Pretty simple tool. I want to say it's like 20 bucks, maybe something like that. And it came with a couple little various sizes. I was scared I wouldn't have enough sizes, so I went ahead and ordered just a little nylon pop rivet assortment, which honestly is pretty cool because you can use them for almost anything on the car, right? You can use it for a lot of cars have the fender rivets that are in there, and any of the little plastic areas that need to be attached. So this, I sort of already pre-looked at what I'm going to use here, and it's like a 5.2 millimeter is essentially what's going to go in the hole. So that'll attach. This will come through the bottom of the spoiler, up and through, and then will attach down. So should be pretty easy, and the way that works is essentially it goes right into the tool. The tool squeezes it like this, and then you just continue until it will break it off. It breaks it off flush, and then that is what's holding the piece together. So pretty interesting little thing, and that is how we will hold this together. So let's get started. All right, before we're going to put that on, we got to really make sure that this is prepped. And so I've just got some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm really going to make sure that I clean this extremely well, because when I put that tape on, especially being on the front of the vehicle, I want it to be very, very, very clean, no debris, so that when I stick it on, it is on. So if you really make sure to take this step really serious, then you'll get a really, really good adhesion And here's where we had to make sure that it rounded with the heat gun. So make sure that I know that this is where I want it to stick really good. So really dry that off, make sure there's nothing there. All right, y'all, so first things first, when you put these on, there's essentially two ways that you could put it on. So you could put the little small pieces on the end on the splitter first, or you could mount these onto the car first and then mount the rest of the splitter or the spoiler to it. And so what I found, because these are made out of plastic, so what I would say is that in the fitment, as far as the fitment is concerned, when I dry fit just these pieces on, there's a couple little bit of adjustments that need to be made. This isn't a $2,000 front splitter, so but it's really easy, because the good news is that you can test fit without hurting the vehicle, and then you know, when they pull these out of the mold, you know, they can move a little bit, warp a little bit, and so sometimes you just have to reheat it and make sure that it fits really good. So I will show you one of the things, if you can actually see, is this little concave, how it concaves back here. I don't know if that's actually picking it up on the camera, but that's actually stopping this from sitting flush, and that's just when it came out of the mold, that's what it did. And so what I did on this one, if you can see, I hope you can pick it up, is I just heated it up and used a little barrel tool to re-round it back out a little bit, and then it fit perfectly flush. So interestingly enough, I just used the brand new tool that I got, and it's almost like a perfect little barrel so that I can press it right in here. And so all I'm doing is just taking the heat gun, being real careful because I don't want to hurt the paint. These are ceramic coated, as you know, and I just want to be able to get that out. So I'm just going to heat it up a little bit. Be really, really careful, keep the heat moving around, but just heat it up right on that little corner enough to where we're going to be able to mold that around like we want, and then it's going to give me really, really good fitment. And this is to be expected on anything that's plastic that comes out of a mold. It's going to move a little bit. So let me see if that's good there. Yeah, it's pretty good. So now it should be able to just come in, and I'm going to be real careful not to touch the paint. And I'm going to be able to just round that right back out. And I'm going to just touch it up one last time. It should fit right nice on there. It's not hurting the paint at all. Being really, really careful not to hurt the paint. But I am going to just push that back just a hair, because your bumper is round, so it wants to fit in rounded like that. So now instead of it being concave this way, it's now rounded out where it'll fit right into the bumper. So that was one little quick thing. It was super, super simple. And once I did it on this one, it fit right in. It fits nice and tight and clean. So the approach that I'm going to use is I'm going to actually mount these to the car first and make sure that they're really nice and tight and the fitment is good. And then I'll go back with the actual lip itself, and then I'll rivet that up. Which should hold it in place once I rivet that up, and then once I've held it in place, then I'll come back and I'll actually attach it and screw it in. So let's go get that piece done. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just heat up where I know that the tape areas are going to be sticking. So it's essentially right here. I just want to heat that up a little bit. I know that it's going to be sticking all the way across the top and right here. And what'll happen by helping it to stick is if you heat it up, it'll really help the tape. So if you're in a cold environment when you're viewing this video, you just sort of warm that up, because you're going to have essentially one opportunity to get it how you want it, and that's what it's going to be. So fitment is nice. It really is nice. It's in there really, really good. And then any little gap here, I can come back with the heat gun, heat that up, and just roll that right in. So I'm really happy with how that actually is sitting there. And then this will sit really good right there. I'm just going to heat this up just a little bit. You want to be really careful because of that paint. We're just trying to soften it is all we're trying to do. So keep the heat moving. Keep the heat moving. And then I'll be able to come back in and sort of bend that in really nice. So yeah, happy with that. Super happy with that. Goes in real nice. Feels really good. Yeah, kind of cool the way that they sit on there just like that. Man, I apologize if you hear some lawn mowing in the background. This is everybody's out today mowing their lawn, but those look pretty cool just like that. But let's get the splitter on itself. All right, first rivet in. Perfect. So as you can see, you see how that held it really tight. Now we'll go in and we'll hit all these other rivets and that'll hold it really, really tight. All right, so I've got a couple rivets on this side in and I've got just a couple on this side just to hold it in place. And then what happens is this is gonna lift up and screw in. And so there's two screws that go there to really hold that. So I've got some stainless steel screws, 1-inch stainless steel screws that I'm gonna use because obviously I don't want them to rust. So what I've got is an angle, because I'm feeling lazy today, so I've got my angle driver so that I don't have to jack the car up. And these are the stainless steel bits. And so we'll get those mounted up so that once that middle's in place, then we will put the rest of the rivets in and we'll add a couple additional screws for strength and we'll be good to go. All right, y'all, finally got it done. And I'll tell you what, man, I really am happy with the way that this thing looks. And I still got a little bit of work to do to get some of these bugs off the bumper. But I'll tell you, what I ended up doing, it was just 2 screws right here on the center, the plastic poly rivets on the bottom to hold this piece here. And then I ended up, there's 2 screws right underneath here on the back that hold it in. And then I ended up putting 1 rivet right there. And I did the same on the other side, and it came out really, really nice. I love it. I'm really happy with it. For an eBay lip, you know, this isn't a $1,000 lip or a $1,500 carbon lip. This is, you know, a couple $100 and change. And I think that the fact that I'll probably hit this one day and be irritated, I won't be as irritated. But I think that it came out great. I think that everybody would like having this on their car. So.